The quest continues. Alright, it could. Oh, that shield. I used to have that shield. I never got the Arcanite Reaper, though. Because I could just get the Unstoppable Force, and I thought it was better.
Hey guys, what's up? MadSeason here, back with another episode in the Azeroth Arsenal. In the last episode of the series, I started covering the Tier 0.5 armor set, or the Dungeon Set 2 as some people call it. So, this video will be the conclusion of this chain. If you remember, we left off doing a bit of ghost hunting, we did a timed Strat home run, made a special banner, summoned a special boss in the Blackrock Depths instance, and got the first of 3 fragments of a medallion to break an ancient curse.
No,
we brought this medallion back to Antheon.
I'll finish this video and I'll restart.
He tells you to return to Deliana or Makvar, and that someone named Bodley is the only hope of finding the 2 remaining pieces. Returning to them allowed you to trade in 3 more pieces, the boots, which were purple, and the pants and shoulders. Just 2 more pieces to go, the head and chest. You're told to track down Bodley, who was last seen entering the Blackrock Spire in the Blackrock Mountain. So, you bring the Ghost Revealer with you, and use it to speak with his ghost, and he gives you the last 2 parts, the head, chest, and that's quest complete.
Farewell really for now, cool. Mortals. We hope you enjoyed today's video.
Nah, just kidding. You need to travel to the other side of the world
Surprise,
to get an item called the Cinder of Cinders.
Yep, there you go.
This dropped from an NPC named the Duke of Cinders in the Silithus Zone.
Oh yeah,
but he's not just like any other NPC. You have to do a little ritual to summon him.
Yep.
You need to kill Twilight cultists within the zone until you obtain 3 pieces of their armor as a disguise. A cowl, a mantle, and the robe.
Yep.
Having all 3 gave you access to something called a Windstone, which allowed you to summon the Lord of Cinders. To do that though, you first needed a medallion called the Twilight Cultist Medallion of Station.
Like back in the day, like you didn't
to
just
get
fuck
this,
around to do this on
you needed
accident.
to complete a quest chain. And to start this chain, you needed to do some farming to reach the friendly reputation with the Cenarian Circle.
Yep.
Aw man,
this
is reminding me of the Burning Crusade attunement. Not getting into rep farming, once you do that, you talk to an NPC named Arl Goldleaf in the Cenarian Hold in Silithus, and you needed to bring her 1 large brilliant shard and 3 items called Abyssal Crests. You got these Abyssal Crests by equipping that Twilight set you got earlier, and clicking on lesser windstones located throughout the zone to summon an elemental, which dropped the crests.
This shit was actually
Turning
really hard
in the
to
materials
do.
gave you the medallion, which gave you a 1 in 4 chance upon clicking the windstones of summoning the Duke of Cinders.
These are like 10-man
If you're lucky enough to summon him, you kill him, get the Cinder, and bring it back to...
Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I think one of them was like one version of them was really hard.
Oh yeah, Bodley needed this. You know, you lose track after a while.
Yeah, you sure fucking do.
But he also needed 2 more items called the Incendicite of Incendius, which dropped from Lord Incendius, a boss in the Blackrock Depths. And he also needed the Ember of the Emberseer, which dropped from the Pyroguard Emberseer in the Upper Blackrock Spire.
You guys remember this? The boss, it would take like 8 minutes for the boss to finally spawn and slowly grow a little bit bigger, and then you'd kill him in 3 seconds and it wouldn't even matter. God, that was so fucking annoying.
Which was only opened with the Seal of Ascension, which you got from...
Another quest line.
I'm not going into that one again.
Yep.
And lastly, you also need an item called the Hallowed Brazier, which you could only buy from the Argent Dawn faction for 120 gold.
I never knew what that did.
Honored reputation level or higher.
I had no fucking idea.
So, you bring all this stuff back to Bodley, and you'll give you 1 of 4 quests selected at random.
Yeah, sure. I'll give you guys the video.
It'll be called the Components of Importance, and the possibilities are to retrieve a brilliant sword of zealotry, which is looted from the elite Scarlet Praetorians located in the elite Tyr's Hand Zone in the Eastern Plaguelands. Another possibility was to retrieve the soul ashes of the Banished, which you got from the undead located on the Purgation Isle, which could be found off the coast of the Hillsbrad Foothills Zone.
Yeah, those were also 60 elites.
Option number 3 was to acquire the druidical remains from the Silithid, located at Hive Regal in the southeast Silithus.
And those were elite too.
And
like all
number
these
4
mobs were
was
all
to
elite.
track down the Starbreeze
Goddamn.
Village relic, which you can find back at the Frost Whisper Gorge in southern Winterspring from the Frostmaw giants there.
Also elite.
All 4 of these quests involved killing elite enemies, which were
Yep.
soloable with the right class and gear, but
Yep.
still, they were tough.
This shit was hard to do.
But whichever one you got, you brought back to Bodley, and he gave you the follow-up quest. If you got the Blade of Zealotry, your next goal is to take the brazier you put together earlier in the final boss room of the human side of Stratholme to summon 2 undead enemies named Jarian and Sathos.
I don't remember this at all.
You kill them and loot the left piece
Holy
of the
shit.
amulet. Or, in the previous part,
Damn.
if you got the soul ashes, you then head to the Skolomance dungeon into Ras Frost Whisper's room, which was near the end of the instance.
Wow.
And you use this brazier to summon an ogre named Cormac.
Dude, this is
If
so
you instead
fucking
got
crazy.
the Druidical Remains quest, the follow-up for that was to head to the War Master Voon's room in the lower Blackrock Spire
Think about how
to summon a
complex
Tauren
this
druid
shit is.
named Mor Greyhoof.
Like, I
And
don't know. I'm
lastly,
just...
if you got the relic,
Okay,
you needed to go to
yes.
the Satyr, all's in the Wild Shaper's
We
room,
killed this guy
all
for
the way
transmog
in the
gear.
Diremal East dungeon.
Yep.
You kill him, and using the brazier, you summon the Night Elf, Isalian.
Yep, we had to kill her for the
So,
transmog.
of course, all 4 of these required a full group to summon and kill. And, just like Theldrin and the Blackrock Depths, they all dropped loot, and some are still sought after as transmogs to this day.
Yep.
Players who
got
completed
'em
this
all,
whole
boys.
chain and kept a
We
certain
got 'em
item
all.
can still summon a few of them, but since the chain was so long, hard, and expensive,
Most people
these
don't have the
people
items
are
anymore.
extremely rare to find.
Yeah, there's probably only like a dozen
Anyways,
of them left.
whichever scenario
Just
you got,
insane.
you turned into Bodley, and that's 2 of
The
the 3
quests are not going to
fragments.
be on release.
And
No.
for the next part, he asks you to gather some reagents to cast a spell to track down
Long
the 3rd
and hard.
fragment.
Just like
This
vanilla.
happens to be 20 blood kelp from Naga, located on the Alkaz Island in the Dustswallow Marsh Zone.
Oh, how convenient.
These Naga were all high-level elites,
Level
so they were
62
difficult,
elites.
but soloable,
Yep.
again with the right class and gear. And the next 2 parts are basically just repeats of the previous parts. You know the portion of the chain where there are 4 possibilities? Out of the remaining 3 scenarios, you'll get one randomly for the next 2 parts. So, the Sword from Tyr's Hand, the Ashes from Purgation Isle, the Druidical Remains from Silithus, or the Relic from Winterspring. And after that, you get one of those 4 quests to go into one of the dungeons to summon another boss. Doing
Mediocre
so
song
gave
about
you the
classic
final
beta.
piece of the amulet. The last
Really?
part required you to go into the raid,
Okay,
the
let me
Upper
look
Blackrock Spire, and kill the elite orcs there until you got 40 Blackrock bracers. And just in case you thought that you were home free in terms of gold, you also needed a flask of Supreme Power, which was a spell power flask for vanilla.
Oh my god.
It was of course made by alchemists.
I feel like you could just take all this gold and sell it for real money and buy enough shares of Blizzard to just get them to release Burning Crusade faster. This is insane. Think about how much fucking money you have to put into this quest, and it's just some random ass blue and epic gear. Like, I can't even believe it. This is so insane. Yeah, obviously people we have like a thing that automatically times out people that put like try hard whenever I say something that there's obviously a racist connotation to. My mods are gods, okay guys? We have those people under control. Yeah, there are no spurgs allowed in my stream. We're keeping them under wraps and under control.
And it was pretty expensive. You brought all of this back to Bodley. The next part was the finale. You needed to go back into the Upper Blackrock
I don't
Spire
remember this.
and summon Lord Valthalak himself.
Yeah, I
As
don't
I
remember
mentioned,
ever doing this part.
guy was an elite Draconid, and you summoned him in the Beast's room, so once again, near the
Okay.
end of the raid. It was actually a pretty tough fight, involving
Really?
3 phases total where he drains life, summons
Shit.
adds, enrages, and
Damn.
throws out Shadow Bolt volleys. A worthy final
Goddamn.
boss to this insane quest chain.
That's actually pretty
If you were
fucking
successful
cool.
though, you use the completed amulet on his corpse to summon his spirit, and he agrees to end the curse now that the amulet is returned. The next step is to return to Bodley, and he tells you to return to Deliana for the Alliance or Mokvar for the Horde, and they thank you by letting you trade in your tier 0 chest and helmet for their tier 0.5
I wish that I
counterparts.
could go back and do this quest right now.
He or she
totally
wishes you
would,
luck
man.
and hopes that this armor
That's a really
will
good
protect
chest.
you for
Holy
a long
shit,
time,
that's a great one.
or
This
until
one's
the
what,
next
GG?
expansion,
Thanks,
I
JP.
guess.
Good shit, man.
And that's it. That's the chain completed. You're a little older, a little more
Fuck
broke,
yeah, dude.
but you have
A
your new
lot
set.
older, actually.
Maybe it didn't have better stats than the rating sets, but it was definitely more rare, and in its own way, more difficult to get. The true
Yeah.
set for the non-rating
That's
player.
true.
Today, of course, thanks to the Cataclysm, the chain and thus the armor sets are now removed from the game,
You can get them
but
from
you still can
Darkmoon
obtain
Fair.
both the tier 0
Yeah.
and 0.5 as transmogs
Fair,
from the
if anybody
Darkmoon
wants to
Fair
get
if
it.
you'd like. They just exist for looks though, and they don't have any stats. Another bonus is that if you completed this chain, you got to keep
Yeah.
the tools to summon any of the bosses anytime you want, in case you wanted some of their unique loot.
Oh!
Cormac from Skolomance,
So that's why
Fulgrim from the
people were able to
Blackrock
resummon
Depths,
it over and over.
Jarian and Sothos from Strathholm, Asalion
Holy
from
shit.
Diremaul, more Greyhoof from the lower Blackrock Spire,
Yep.
and Valthalak from the upper
Yep.
Blackrock Spire.
We should go through
Today,
and kill all those
due
mobs.
to the many dungeon re-releases, there's not a lot that you can actually summon still. Only Asalion, more Greyhoof, and Theldrin survived the revamps, and the rest are lost
We've never
forever.
killed the druid before, but we killed
Or
the
I
other
guess
two.
until classic servers release. But that's about it.
True.
If you watched this for entertainment, I hope you found it entertaining, and if you watched it as a guide, I hope you found it helpful. Like the video if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Azeroth Arsenal.
You know what's
Peace.
so badass? Is that people actually are going to be able to use that as a
Farewell
guide
for now, mortals.
They will.
We hope you enjoyed today's
It will be
video.
soon, too.
See you again soon.
Remember the Nagaholic exploration video, Vanilla by Dopefish brings you back all classic feelings? Yeah, I do remember watching that, man. Thank you very much, Magic Dave. I appreciate that. Too long, but probably worth skimming. Yeah, it's kind of a long video. I'm going to watch the FTH video after this, and then maybe something else after that if the servers still aren't up. I might be out of here, but Classic's not even out, and everyone's asking what's next. Why is that? Well, people always want to know, like, what's happening, right? They want to know, like, what they're looking forward to and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's just, like, very common for people to expect to see that, right? Do a world first of this quest. I will, actually. Watch the Tips Out video, please. Well, we'll see which one we're going to watch, all right?